Hey all, Ron here from Military Images Magazine with a new episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail. By January of 1861, it was perfectly clear to anyone in the state of Louisiana, in the South, and in the United States, the entire United States, that Louisiana's time in the Union was drawing very short. Forts, U.S. forts began to fall to Louisiana state troops. The federal arsenal in Baton Rouge fell that same month, and all of the munitions were captured and distributed to those state troops and later Confederate soldiers. Before the end of month, there would be the Ordinance of Secession sealing the fate of the state on the eve of Civil War, just weeks away from Fort Sumter, which no one was prepared for. And here we are, all of this happening in Louisiana, and it provokes a reaction from the military officer who was in charge, the superintendent of Louisiana State Seminary of Learning and Military Academy. It's the man pictured in the center here, William Tecumseh Sherman. He's flanked in this portrait by General George Gordon Meade on the left, Army of the Potomac commander, and on the right, Sherman's pal, his bud, his comrade, Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant. Sherman, of course, in 1861 as superintendent, knows what's going on. It's too late to stop it. And of course, he's going to write some letters. As you students of the Civil War know, he's crystal clear with his opinions. He's not afraid to speak out, whether it's spoken or written word. And in these letters to the governor of Louisiana, Governor Thomas O. Moore, he lets him know what's going on. And so they are worthy of being read. Both are included in Sherman's memoirs, and he knows that they're worthy of preservation for the future. So he wants them to be read. So let's get into a reading of both of these letters now. They're both meant to go together, and they were delivered at the same time. The first one is the formal announcement that he's going to be leaving, resigning from his position. And the second is a private letter to the governor. So let's start with that official letter. It is date-lined Louisiana State Seminary of Learning and Military Academy, January 18th, 1861. Governor Thomas O. Moore, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Sir, as I occupy a quasi-military position under the laws of the state, I deem it proper to acquaint you that I accepted such position when Louisiana was a state in the Union, and when the motto of this seminary was inserted in marble over the main door, quote, by the liberality of the general government of the United States, this union esto perpetua. Let it be perpetual, end quote. Recent events foreshadow a great change, and it becomes all men to choose. If Louisiana withdraw from the federal union, I prefer to maintain my allegiance to the Constitution as long as a fragment of it survives, and my longer stay here would be wrong in every sense of the word. In that event, I beg you will send or appoint some authorized agent to take charge of the arms and munitions of war belonging to the state, or advise me what disposition to make of them. And furthermore, as president of the Board of Supervisors, I beg you to take immediate steps to relieve me as superintendent the moment the state determines to secede, for on no earthly account will I do any act or think any thought hostile to or in defiance of the old government of the United States. With great respect, your obedient servant, W.T. Sherman, Superintendent. So there's that first letter, that official letter of resignation. No question about what his intentions are. That second letter is marked private, has the same date, January 18th, 1861, and it simply says to Governor Moore, "My dear sir, I take it for granted that you have been expecting for some days the accompanying paper from me, the above official letter. I have repeatedly and again made known to General Graham and Dr. Smith that, in the event of a severance of the relations hitherto existing between the confederated states of this Union, I would be forced to choose the old Union. It is barely possible all the states may secede, South and North, that the new combinations may result, but this process will be one of time and uncertainty, and I cannot, with my opinions, await the subsequent development. I've never been a politician and therefore undervalue the excited feelings and opinions of the present rulers, but I do think if this people cannot execute a form of government like the present, that a worse one will result. I will keep the cadets as quiet as possible. They are nervous, but I think the interest of the state requires them here guarding this property and acquiring a knowledge which will be useful to your state in after times. When I leave, which I now regard as certain, the present professors can manage well enough to afford you leisure time to find a suitable successor to me. You might order Major Smith to receipt for the arms and to exercise military command, while the academic exercises could go on under the board. In time, some gentleman will turn up, better qualified than I am, to carry on the seminary to its ultimate point of success. I entertain the kindest feelings toward all and would leave the state with much regret. Only in great events we must choose one way or the other. Truly, your friend, W.T. Sherman." So there you have Sherman's two letters to Governor Moore of Louisiana. One, announcing his resignation, sure that it will come upon secession of the state. And two, some personal thoughts about how to maintain the academy and take care of the cadets once he's departed. So thanks for listening. See you on the next episode of Life on the Civil War Research Trail.